2023 has been a big year for me. It's been a big year for prop firms, and a lot of people have jumped on the futures trading prop firm bandwagon, and it seems to be the hot topic as we close out 2023. I look back on my 2023 year and I try to think, did I make the right decision? Did I do what I should have done? Could I have been a better day trader in 2023? Let's talk about what I look back on and what I think about when it comes to trading through prop firms and what I could have done differently to maybe have a better overall year for myself as a day trader. The cool thing about prop firms is basically you pay, $100, whatever it is, to go through the evaluation. You then get into a funded account. Maybe you pay for a reset. You get access to all this money to trade, and now you can make millions and millions of dollars, right? The biggest, I think, emotional, mental aspect that really plagues myself and maybe plagues other traders is the fact that you pay $100, you then get into a funded account and you're like, well, I paid $100. I might as well just go hard and try to make as much money as fast as possible, and I can hit my profit targets. I can take a payout and do all this, right? I need 5 days of profitable trades, $200, and then I can get rich, and then I can make more money. And well, it creates this sense I have to do it as fast as possible, right? I passed the combine, I passed the evaluation in 2 days, I did it in 4 days, whatever it is. I hit the targets, I hit the plan, and now it's time to get rich. And I look back at a lot of the funded accounts that I ended up losing, or the combines that I ended up blowing up, things like that. When I look back at that, I think one of the biggest issues for me in 2023 was the greed, and also this idea of hey, I paid $100, who cares? I might as well just YOLO this account. I might as well go in with 15 contracts. I might as well try to make as much money as fast as possible because it was only $100. I've only spent $100. It's very easy to get into this cycle, this issue where you're like, fuck it, I can just blow it up because I paid $100 for it. But when you really look at the grand scheme of things, if you do it 10 times, now you've basically spent $1,000. If you do it 20 times, you keep resetting, you keep going to try to hit it as fast as possible. It's this idea of trying to get funded as fast as possible. This urgency, this fast. I want to go as fast as possible. I want to make as much money. It's very, very, I don't need to rush. Just because I have these imaginary targets and I want to hit this targets and do this and this, just because I have those things there does not mean I have to do it in a certain amount of time. So that's one big problem that I've had. And I'm sure a lot of you out there, I see people talking about this, you get into the funded account, you're excited. Now you can take out money out of the market, but before you know it, you're in the red, and then you're in drawdown, and then you blow up the account. In the end, you're sacrificing time, you're sacrificing just the effort that you're putting into trading, you're sacrificing, actually building up a cushion, building up money, making money, actually building that up. And that becomes a very big snowball effect, right? You have all of these emotions where you're just fuck, I need to hit these targets. I need to make all this money. And now I've got all this emotion tied up with this funded account, with this prop firm. And it becomes a very big elephant in the room. Before you know it, after starting your prop firm journey, you've now spent thousands and thousands of dollars on resets and accounts and all this stuff. So you really end up becoming indebted and committed to the pot where you're well, fuck, I've spent $10,000 on resets. So now I got to make $10,000, right? I got to make $10,000 just to break even at this point. I would be up a lot more on this year if I would have just walked away when I was in the green. There's so many days where I'm up in the green and I don't walk away. It's so many times it happened. So I think the best advice to really kind of avoid that is to really take your time, really focus on hey, I got this account, I worked hard for it, I put a lot of effort into it. I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to go and try to just YOLO trade. I'm not going to just try to get massive trades and just make a bunch of money just to show off the internet, which, obviously I am a bad example of that. But, this is advice to you guys to avoid kind of what I've done over 2023 when it comes to trading through a prop firm. Next big issue that I think is also a very big issue is taking payouts. I'm going to build up the account. You build up the account, you get it up. I've had so many times where I've gotten funded accounts up to $10,000, $20,000 in profit, and then I end up just giving it all back because now, here's the thing, right? I'm in the account, I build it up to $15,000, and then I have a red day, and I'm oh, fuck. I got to get it back to 15,000, right? Like I need to get a payout, like because I can only take 15% or 50% of a payout. So it's like my account's at 15,000. Okay, if I take a payout, that's $7,000 I get paid. But like now I'm, like you get in this like mind, like headspace where you feel like you can't take a payout because the payout's not big enough. Like, or you feel like you've got to like make more before taking a payout. And I would suggest to anyone out there that's new to this game, take payouts. Don't be afraid. If you're able to take a payout, even if it's $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, take the fucking payout, right? Like if I could go back in time and take in the payout, even 50% of that payout, all those times where I ran the account up $10,000, $20,000, like I would have taken probably another like $60,000, $70,000 in payouts this year instead of like fucking around and giving all that profit back. Like once you're able to take a payout, take the fucking payout and pay yourself. And then like realize it, bring that money into your bank account and be like, well, look, I got paid for following the rules. I got paid for, being disciplined. I got paid for that. You get like this idea, like, look, I'm up 15 grand. And then the next day you have a red day and now you're down, 3 grand. You're like, well, fuck, I can't, I gotta get back to 15. It's like, why? Like, why do you have to get back to 15? Just take the fucking profit, take the payout, and then keep trading. You can always build it up again. Like, you don't have to get back to some imaginary fucking target just to take a payout. Like, take the fucking payout. Take the fucking payout. If I could go back in time and tell myself one thing, I would say take the fucking payout, Patrick. Take it for real. Like, for real. Take the fucking payout. If you got it, take the payout. I got $500,000 in funding, right? So like if I make, 5%, 10% on the year, I'm going to make $50,000. I'm going to make all this money. Right? I'm going to make all this money because I've got all this money to trade with. Well, in reality, just because you're funded $150,000 account does not mean you have $150,000 to play with. You have literally a drawdown of $4,500 in a $150,000 account. So realistically, like you got to change your mindset to this. Change your mindset to this simple idea of like, instead of focusing on $150,000 that you have to trade with, no, my friends, you have $4,500 to trade with. That's literally one max loss day and then another half max loss. So like a $3,000 max loss and then a $1,500 loss and you're out of the account. That's how much you have to lose when you start out. So you don't have $150,000. You literally have $4,500 to trade with, basically, when you start out on a funded account. Obviously, when you build it up, it gets a little bit better. But in general, like you got to ask yourself, you're like, damn, like this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea to try to think that I got all this money to trade with. But in reality, like you got to be realistic. And I think that also plagues traders. It's plagued me because I'm like, I got all this money. But it's like, really, you're like, no. You got $4,500 to trade with. Like that's pretty much like your risk on the account. You can't just fucking YOLO, let me go hard in the paint. Like it's very easy to lose $3,000 when you're trading 15 contracts. Like that's 10 points on the NASDAQ. It's literally happens in 5 seconds. Like 5 seconds, you're fucking in, you're out. So you got to be realistic here and you got to tell yourself like, look, let's be realistic here, people. How many jobs can you work? Like what job in the world can you work and make $1,000 in 1 hour? Like you start out in the morning, you make $1,000. Like what other job in the world can you do that? And do that like every day pretty much consistently. Like obviously there's going to be days you're going to have red, but like in the grand picture of things, like your goal is to be consistent, like to find a point where like you can basically lose 500, make 1,000, 1,500. And like by the end of the week, you're, up $4,000 on the week on a good week. So you got to ask yourself, it's like if you work for 1 hour a day, like what is that 1 hour a day worth to you? Like if you work a normal job and you're making, $200 a day working for 9 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is. And like, would you be happy just walking away with $500 in profit a day? Like, would you? So you really just got to like find that point of like, look, if I'm serious about this, I want this to be my job. I want to make money trading. Like I've got to just be serious about like taking money out of the market and being like consistent and not trying to fucking just like YOLO lottery trade every day and try to make as much profit as possible. And I got caught up in that, right? Like I really did get caught up in that for a while where it was like, I need to have a $20,000 a day, a $10,000 a day. I'm not happy until I make so much fucking money that I can post it on Twitter and everyone can see it and be like, damn, you're so good. You're the best trader I ever saw. Wow. Like, woo, whoop-de fucking do. couple likes on Twitter, what does that get me at the end of the day? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, my friends. It'll get you fucking nothing. Because when you have those big profit days, trust me, it's even easier to have big loss days and to get caught up in these consistently losing days, because all you're focused on is having big winners, big winners, big winners. And it's a mind fuck. It'll ruin you as a trader. It'll haunt you. I'm talking from experience here. It'll haunt you. Having those big losses, being on a red streak, it haunts you not just when you're trading, but when you're not trading, when the market's closed, when you're doing other stuff. You're just thinking to yourself, you're like, fuck, like why? Like, why did I do that? Why? Why did I do that stupid shit? It is a emotion, a feeling that I know a lot of people do experience, and it's not a good emotion. It's not a good feeling. Like, I don't want to live with that feeling. I don't want to constantly have to be like, fuck, like, why? Why does it suck so bad? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It's something to really think about. I think at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself, you're like, fuck, like, is it worth having this emotional roller coaster feeling of having a big green day and then having more red days and then up and down and up? Or is it better to find just a consistent level where you can just take your profits, you walk away, and you just live your life and not get so emotionally up and down on these big profit days or big loss days? So a little bit of emotions about 2023. Obviously, trading at the end of the day, buying low, selling high, it's not fucking rocket science. The big issue here is being able to survive, being able to do it consistently, and being able to pay yourself. You got to pay yourself. You got to trade like it's fuck. You just got to trade consistently and focus on the consistency. And that's going to be my big focus in 2024, to be honest. We'll see how it goes. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, to be honest. So I'm focused on it. We'll see if I can actually pull it off. But the big up and downs, they're not fucking fun. And I would highly suggest, just find that sweet spot. Finding that sweet spot, sticking to it, because it's a lot better place to be, and you're going to grow as a trader a lot more. You're going to learn to trade a lot better. You're going to get a lot more out of it if you just focus on, that sweet spot over trying to constantly fuck around with the big up and down days. It's just not fucking worth it. I'm telling you. It ain't fucking worth it, my friends. If you guys haven't already hit that like button, subscribe button, you know what to do. I will talk to you guys later on.